Hey, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about just getting ready to talk about probability. All right, so probability comes to us in many different ways, so we have to remember how to work back and forth between all those ways. All right, so if I want to change 0.34 to a fraction, okay, so decimal to a fraction, we have to remember what the names of the decimals are, right? So these are tenths and these are hundredths, right? So the hundredths are the last spot, so this tells me that there is 34 hundredths in that decimal. Okay, so 34 hundredths. And then what we have to do is we have to try to reduce as much as we can. So since both of these are even, we can reduce them both by 2 and see what happens. So 34 divided by 2 is 17, 100 divided by 2 is 50, and that's it. I can't reduce that anymore. Okay? On the other hand, if I have a fraction and I want to change it to a decimal, that's a lot easier. All we do is 2 over 7 means 2 divided by 7 on my calculator. Okay? So after I do 2 divided by 7, I get the answer. Well, I get a really long answer, but I can always round it. Okay, so I'm going to call that 0.29. All right? So we want to go to 2 decimal places all the time. So 0.29. So all we had to do was 2 divided by 7. All right. Okay. So let's see what else. So change 28% as a decimal. Okay. Well, percents are really easy because percent tells us that it's out of 100. So all we have to do is say 28 divided by 100, and that'll be 0.28. Okay. So that's percent as a decimal. Okay. Now, if I want to change it to a fraction, well, we said it's 28 out of 100. So that's easy too. 28 divided by 100 and then reduce. So again, both are even, so I can reduce by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So can I reduce any more? Yes, I can, because again, I can divide both by 2. So that means 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Okay, so that's the least that I can go. I can't reduce it anymore. All right. Okay, so let's get a little bit more complicated. So in Castlebrook Secondary School, there's 1,406 students. If they all had a phone, how many would have an Apple phone? Okay, so in order to figure this out, we have to go to a pie chart. Okay, so let's look at this pie chart. So this pie chart shows the cell phone market share in 2013, and we're talking about trying to find an Apple product. So that means I want to find Apple, and Apple is green. All right, so I'll look to the Apple section of the pie, and these are all percents because that's what it says there. So I know that the Apple market share is 9%. So 9% of 1,406. Okay, well, the way that we calculate that is we change this to a decimal, so 9 divided by 100. And then the word of is like multiplying. So this divided by 100 times 1406. Okay, so I'll just do that on my calculator. And we get the answer 126.54. So we can round that to the nearest person and get the answer 127, right? So 127 people would have an iPhone if all of our students had a phone, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a look at a different type of chart, okay? So this is called a histogram, and the title tells us that this is about call center hold times. And the axes tell us that the number of minutes on hold is this axis, so people that were willing to wait 1 to 2 minutes. And the y-axis is the actual number of people. So what that means is 1 to 2 minutes, well, 2 people were willing to wait. 2 to 3 minutes, 5 people were willing to wait. 3 to 4 minutes, 8 people were willing to wait, and so on. So the first question asks, how many people were asked about their hold time. Okay, so let's look at the chart and answer that question.
So again, for 1 to 2 minutes, there were 2 people willing to wait. Okay, for 2 to 3 minutes, there were 5 people willing to wait. For 3 to 4 minutes, there were 8 people willing to wait. For 4 to 5 minutes, there were 10 people. For 5 to 6 minutes, there were also 10 people. For 6 to 7 minutes, there were 7 people. For 7 to 8 minutes, there were 4 people. For 8 to 9 minutes, there were 3 people. And for 9 to 10 minutes, there was only 1 person. Okay?
So if we add up all of the different bars, we get the answer 50. Okay? So 50 people answered the question. So what percent would wait 4 to 5 minutes? Well, we saw on the graph that the number of people that would wait 4 to 5 minutes was 10. So what percent would wait 4 to 5 minutes? Well, 10 out of 50 would be, we can do that on our calculator, and that's 10 divided by 50, which is 0.2. And now to change that to a percent, we just have to multiply it by 100. So that would give us 20%. Okay? What percent would wait less than 4 minutes? Well, we had 2 people that would have waited 1 to 2 minutes. We had 5 people that would have waited 2 to 3 minutes. And we had 8 people that would have waited 3 to 4 minutes. All of those are less than 4. So now we can say that that total is 15, right? So then to make it into a percentage, all we have to do is 15 divided by 50 times 100, and that will give us the answer of 30%. Okay, so that's it. All right, now we're done, and you guys can get started on your work.